everyone, welcome to yoga class today. Our practice is going to be a meditation on tree pose today. So the class is going to be a bit of a hybrid between beginning on our backs for a good length of time, doing some somatic work to prepare the body for tree pose. So there's a lot going on in this pose. We need to balance, we need to have an open hip, we need a little bit of core stability. We also need a little shoulder flexibility with the arms overhead. So we'll do some work to prepare, and then eventually we'll come up and do some variations of tree pose standing. Before we get started, I just want to share an interesting little story with you about trees. There's this German forester, and let me just make sure I got his name correct here. His name's Peter Wolleben, not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but he's known as the tree whisperer, and he has a best-selling book, but he's done a lot of research on trees and how they communicate with each other. And I'm finding this work really fascinating. So the trees, according to his research, communicate through an underground network of their roots and fungi. And so they're able, through this system, to share resources with each other. For example, the little baby trees, the saplings, can't reach high enough into the forest to get the sunlight, and so they need to share resources with the older, they call the mother trees. And so the mother trees are sharing resources with the saplings through this underground network. Also, they're able to communicate when there's some distress. So if there's a threat, an animal is attacking, an insect's attacking, the trees are able to communicate and put off a chemical that will prevent them from being completely destroyed by the invader. So these are really interesting to me. And then one other thing that I thought was really fascinating is that the trees share resources without discrimination. Meaning they share with trees of other species. So it's not just their own species that they're trying to protect. They're trying to protect the entire forest because some kind of intelligence, whatever you want to call it, is aware that the forest will be stronger and more stable if all of the trees are healthy, right? So if some of the trees fall and then there's this big mother tree standing there, she's more vulnerable. Right? She's more vulnerable to the wind and the elements without her other trees around her. Also, when that tree is by itself, the forest floor can get hotter and drier. And so the trees know that by working together, sharing resources, and in a sense, caring for each other, they are a stronger, more stable organism. And I really think this is applicable to our time right now. So this pandemic that we're in, we all need to care and share resources, care for each other, and that way we will have a stronger organism of our entire planet. So I hope you enjoy this meditation on tree pose. We're going to be on our backs for a good length of time, and I want you to be able to slide your body. So I want you to have, if you can, a folded blanket on the length of your mat. If you don't have a yoga blanket, I would recommend doing this first part on a carpet so that you can slide easier. You can use a blanket from home, but they're not as, they don't stay as well on the mat. They're too slippery. So the yoga blankets are better for this situation. We'll also need a block, so have that handy. A big thick book would work. And I think that's all we'll need for practice today. If you want, you can also have a folded blanket or a pillow for under your head for part of the practice, but we probably won't need it for most of the time. So we're going to start on our backs. I'm going to take my pillow out right now. And probably midway through this video, I'm going to flip the orientation of the camera, so you might see a little blip there. I'm going to try to edit it out, because I'm going to do part of the practice on the back and then part of it standing. So go ahead and come onto your back when you're ready, and we're just going to be there for a few moments, focusing on our breath. So get comfortable here's a place where you could keep that blanket under your head if that's comfortable for you. Arms at your side, and if it's comfortable, palms up, which helps open up into the shoulders a bit. And then really truly land here on the floor. And let your bones release to gravity. Taking a few breath cycles, following the pathway of the breath in through your nose, all the way down to the pelvic floor, and as you exhale, back out through your nose. Just follow that pathway for a few more cycles. And as you continue to breathe, start to visualize the body as a tree. So through your feet are the roots of the tree. So when we stand, the feet root down into the ground. The legs and the torso are like the trunk of the tree. And then the arms and the head are like the branches of the tree. More moments, just observing the flow of the breath. We're going to start to work with longer exhales, which really help us get grounded. So next cycle of breath, we're going to start to count. So inhale for a count of 4. And then exhale for a count of 4. We're going to first start to even the breath out a little bit so that the inhale and the exhale are equal. You can always extend that to 5 or 6 counts if you wish, but just make sure that the inhales and the exhales are matching in length as best that you can. From here, starting to let the exhales get a little longer. So we're going to inhale whatever count you're at and see if you can add 2 counts to your exhale. So if you are inhaling for 4, let's go for a 6 count exhale if you can. And we're going to start to draw the navel back, lift the pelvic floor to start to squeeze out all of that breath as you exhale. Comfortable for you, go ahead and allow your exhales to be twice as long as your inhale. So if you inhale for 4, see if you can exhale for 8. Now if that becomes uncomfortable or a strain, you're going to stick with just a 2 count longer exhale and not go that double count. So use your own judgment, whatever works best in your body, your breath, for a few more rounds. Remembering to pull the navel back, lift your pelvic floor, give a squeeze. And let's do 2 more cycles like this. After that second cycle, on your next inhale, we're going to take the arms and reach them overhead. So we're in a full body stretch. And then we're going to start to reach through one arm and then the other arm. And as you reach, just kind of noticing that one side of the waist gets a little shorter and tighter as the other side lengthens. And your hips start to move a little bit up and down, little upslip of the hip. Let your head roll if that feels good, and just alternate reaching from side to side, like you're trying to
reach something on a really high shelf. If you were standing, you want to really reach. Now, any of this work we're doing here in the beginning of practice, if it's comfortable, you could close your eyes, which will help this be a more internal experience, a little more meditative, quieting the body, quieting the mind. All right, so go ahead, release that. Let the arms come down for a moment. Take a breath. Now on your next inhale, we're going to take the arms overhead again. So as you inhale, we're going to point the toes and reach to the arms. And as you exhale, flex the feet, pull your navel back. And do that a few more times. Inhale, point the toes, reach. Exhale, flex the feet, squeeze the belly. One more round. Inhale, reach. Exhale, and flex. Now inhale, reach, point the toes. And as you exhale, bring your right knee into your chest. Circle your foot around so we wake up the ankle joint a bit. We'll be standing on them a bit later. Roll the other direction. And point, flex your foot. Okay, now let the arms come out to the sides, either down low or out to a T, whatever feels more stable. And we're going to circle the right leg around. And you can close your eyes here now and just feel and sense into the leg bone moving around inside your hip joint. You can make those circles as small or as big as you like. We go from external rotation when the leg is out to the side to internal when it crosses over. So building some fluidity in that hip joint. Now let's reverse it, go the other way. And just keep your awareness in the sensations that you're noticing in your body. Maybe noticing little sticky areas as you circle that knee around. Are there any clicking noises? Nothing to be really too concerned about, but just be aware of the level of fluidity in this joint. And now bring that knee back into the chest and give it a good squeeze. Hold it here for another breath. Set that foot down. Take your hands behind the back of your head, interlace your hands. So if you did the somatic video the other week, this is the same psoas slide. We're going to do that again, and then we're going to add on. So we're going to inhale here and give a little arch to your back. Press into your foot, your leg. And then as you exhale, we're going to slide the body toward the bent leg side, toward the right, as you push through the left heel. And then inhale back to center, arch your back, press down into your elbows, lift into your ribs, and then exhale, slide, push through that heel. One more time, back to center, inhale, arch, press down. Exhale, side bend to your right, push through your left heel. And you'll squeeze on the right side of your waist. Good. Come back to center. Keeping the arms where they are. You're going to drop the right knee out to the side. So now from here, we're going to release those arms and bring the right hand down so it's in line close to the leg. And take your left arm and reach it overhead. So I'm kind of in tree pose on my back, except for one arm is reaching overhead, the other arm is down by my leg. So now inhale and reach through the left leg and the left arm. Let your head roll to the and squeeze and contract the right side of your waist. Reach your hand towards your knee, and then release back to center. It's kind of like a side bending tree. So inhale, reach through arm and leg, roll your head, reach your hand towards your knee, and contract the side of your waist on the right side. We're going to add on to that movement. Ease it down a bit. So now, I'd like you to take your right shoulder and roll it a little bit under you as you do this movement. I'm going to change sides just so you can see better what I'm doing. Okay? So I'm going to inhale, reach through your left leg, left arm, and then side bend towards your right. Roll your right shoulder under and really contract the side of your waist as you reach, reach, reach. And then coming back slowly to start. All right, so we're going to repeat that a few more times. I'm going to come back to my original side here. Inhale, reach, 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 side bend, reach your shoulder down, tuck it under, and contract the side of your right waist, and then release back to start. One more time, inhale, exhale, side bend, tuck your shoulder, reach. You should get a nice stretch along that left side, and then let it go. Coming back to center, arms at your side. Keep your right knee out to the side like tree pose. So now we're going to move this leg again. So we're going to bring the knee up, straighten the leg, and then slide it out to the side as high as you can. And then bring it up, knee up, slide that leg out, slide it out toward tree pose at the side. And now continue that motion. Slide it out to the side and back up. Let's do a few more with your eyes closed. If that's comfortable for you. If eyes closed makes you feel uncomfortable, just keep them softly open, but relax through your eyes. And now, one more time, we're going to stay in that tree pose position. Connect your right foot and your left leg together. And notice where your foot naturally lands. So for me, my foot naturally lands at my knee. So that's a big no-no if we were standing. So if we were standing, we wouldn't want to put pressure on our knee joint. So I'd like you to either move your foot below your knee or above your knee. Now bringing it above makes your hips really unlevel, then we're going to keep it lower. So I'm going to keep it lower just for demonstration purposes. If you have any strain in that knee, you could stick your block underneath the knee for support. Okay, so that's an option. So we're staying here in tree pose, and we're going to try to get our hip points level. So you might notice that you roll towards your right side a bit more. Try to even out. And that might mean that that knee doesn't go all the way to the floor, and that's okay. It's more important that our hip points are both shining straight up. Because if we were standing and the hips were twisted, my knee would also be twisted. And we want the knee to be safe when we're balancing standing on that knee. So now we're in tree pose here on our back. Your standing leg would be your left leg. I want you to flex that left foot, draw your toes towards your kneecap, and then root the top of that thigh into the ground. So you should feel your quad firming, your kneecap firming up, and your hips are level. And we're going to try and keep tone in the abdomen here. Right between those two hip bones, imagine a string drawing those two hip bones towards each other. So maintain core stability. So if we were standing, we want our pelvis to be level. If our pelvis is not level, it's harder to balance. So we're looking at all these different components of our tree. Now place your hands over your heart. Take a few breaths. As you hold here, start to press your right foot and your left leg into each other. Firm and tone up your hip muscles, tone your belly. And now on your next inhale, let's see if we can take the arms and reach them overhead. The palms face each other. And you're going to engage your arms, make the muscles of the arms strong. And then reach through your left heel, press your foot and leg into each other, and we're in tree pose on our back. We also want to make sure as the arms come overhead that the ribs don't pop off the ground. So bring your awareness to the bottom of your sternum, right as your rib cage ends, and anchor that point down into the ground. Don't let your rib cage pop up. Let your back ribs stay planted. It's a compensation when our shoulders are tight that we pop our rib cage up. Hold here, one more breath. And then we're going to release the arms down. Draw your knee up to center and take the leg out. And then pause here, maybe shake the legs out. Notice the difference on your right side versus your left side. And then we're going to repeat that same exercise series on the other side. So as you inhale, take your arms and reach them overhead. As you exhale, bring that knee into your chest. Give it a good squeeze and we'll circle the foot around. Go the other direction. And then point, flex a few times. Good. And then from here, we're going to release the arms down and circle the leg. If it's comfortable for you with eyes closed, just really being mindful of this movement. See if we can keep that right side steady and grounded as we do this. And then reverse, go the other direction. And then go ahead, bring that knee back into the chest. And set the foot flat on the ground. From here, doing the psoas slide, and then we'll do the tree variation. So left foot flat, hands behind the back of the head. Inhale, arch your back. Exhale, slide over to the left. Push through your right heel and squeeze on the left side and back to center. Inhale, arch your back. Exhale to the side. Push through the heel. Reach, reach, reach. And again, inhale, back to center, arch. Exhale, slide, push. And then back to the center. Okay, now I'm going to let that knee drop open like tree pose. And let your left palm come down to the floor. Reach your right arm straight overhead. And then we're going to inhale, reach through the right leg, right arm as you squeeze onto the left side of your waist. Reach your hand towards your knee. Your head's going to roll. And then release back to center. And again, inhale, reach. Push through the heel, the arm. Now try to roll your shoulder down. So the shoulder blade pulls down your back. Back to center as you inhale. And again, deep breath in. And exhale, and come over into it. It doesn't really matter if you're inhaling it does matter that we're breathing. So whatever works for you, reach, contract, and then release. So either releasing on the inhale or the exhale and doing the opposite as you come into the movement. Squeeze, shoulder rolls down, and then back to start. Okay, let's let the arms come back down. And we're going to start to do that leg movement. So from here, I'm going to straighten that leg out, slide it over to the side, bring the knee up, and slide out. So on your own, maybe the eyes could close again. Notice the difference between one side versus the other. My right hip is a lot stickier, a lot clickier than my left. So just being aware of our patterns in our body. One more like this. And then we're going to stay in that tree pose. Again, notice where your foot lands. I'm going to bring my foot below my knee. Support that leg. If it's hanging out there and you strain in your knee, put your block under. And then just starting here, arms at your side, shoulder blades flat onto the ground. Anchor that bottom of your sternum down. When I do that, I automatically feel more core connection, which is important for this practice. The hip bones, we want them level and drawing towards each other as if there were a string. So engage the muscles between your two hip bones, your transverse abdominis. We want to engage that. Low belly drawing in and up. And then we can put hands on the heart for a few breaths. Press your foot and your leg into each other. Flex the right foot. Root your right thigh into the ground and lengthen through your tail and the crown of your head. And then from here, let's take the arms overhead, palms facing in. Now for some of us, if our shoulders are tight, it might be better to take the arms wider. So if this feels congested to do shoulders distance, go wider. And then reach without popping your ribs. Anchor that bottom of the sternum down. Reach through the arms, reach through the legs. Hold here another breath. And then go ahead and relax your arms down at your side. Bring that knee up. And then both feet are flat. So from here, a little bit of working on strengthening some legs, inner and outer legs, to facilitate the opening that we need for tree pose. So starting with the feet close together and your hands on the outside of your legs, start to open your legs incrementally, slow motion. And your hands are serving as a bit of resistance. So hands are pressing into the legs slightly. The feet can start to come together, and we're going to let both knees drop open like bound ankle pose on your back. Now we're going to do the opposite, hands on the inner thighs, and we're going to start to incrementally bring the legs up. And we're going to really take our time so we can feel these muscles working. There might be a little quiver, a little shake, that's okay. And eventually, we're going to bring those feet flat. Knees are up. Good. Now on your own, we're going to do a few more rounds. Now if you want to use the hands, you can, or you can just use your own resistance. So as I start to open the legs, I'm going to resist a bit, as if it's really hard to open the legs. Maybe I'm going through a really thick substance that I've got to push through. And you're going to go slowly, feeling and sensing those outer hip muscles working. And then when you get all the way open, pause pause for a moment. You could put your feet together. And then we're gonna go slowly back up. So resist. So for me, it helps to push my pinky edge of my feet down. And that helps engage those muscles. And it's really hard to bring those legs back up. You're resisting. Slow motion. Feel those inner thighs working. And then eventually bring those legs all the way back up, feet flat, and pause. Let's try that again. One more time, legs drop open very slowly, resisting. The outer legs are firming. You should feel that work somewhere in your legs, depending on what's engaging for you, but typically the outer leg. And then when we start to come up, we're going to feel it more on the inner leg. Keep that belly toned. And the legs are going to come all the way back up. One more time, drop open. And we're going to pause there, slowly through resistance. Take those legs apart. And now leave them there. Press your feet together. Keep your abdomen toned, your bottom ribs down, the sternum down, and extend outward through your inner knees. So imagine there's a string behind each knee, pulling the knees apart. Your feet press. So for me, that really starts to tone my glutes, stretches my inner thighs, firms my outer hips. Feel what that feels like to engage the outer hips and open the inner leg. One more breath should be working here. And now relax. Good. Use your hands to help bring both knees up. And then we're going to bring the knees into the chest and rock a little bit side to side across the lower back. Reach down, hold your ankles. You might need to lift your head to get your ankles, and then come back down. Feet together, knees apart. So kind of like an air Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. Let your hips drop. Let the sacrum be heavy. And now start to pull the inner knees apart. Pull your shoulders down. And gently draw your feet towards you as you extend through the inner knee. Shoulder blades are pulling down your back, and we're not popping the ribs. One more breath here. And then release. Knees together, give a good hug. All right, so we're going to transition now to a seated posture. Set your feet down. We're going to roll to one side and slowly press ourselves back up. Oop. Gotta fix the hair here. All right, so coming into a comfortable seat, we're going to grab your block. So take the block in your hands and see if you can reach the block overhead. Now, if this is too much in your shoulders, skip the block and take your arms wider. That's fine. Those of you who can, hold the block. You might even want to be sitting up on a pillow here if your knees are really elevated and you feel like you're rounding into your lower back, collapsing. I'd rather have you be up on a prop. That way we can really keep our ribs lifting away from the pelvis. So my upper body is basically in tree pose here. As I press my hands into the block, I start to feel my arm muscles activate. So I'd like you to get that feeling of the arm muscles activating. So this will help us be stable. So the branches of the tree, even though they're not as sturdy as the trunk, or maybe even perhaps as the roots, they're still strong and reaching toward the sky. They're not just kind of floppy, right? We want those branches to be strong and reaching as high as they can. Now remember the rib cage. Is it popping?
If it pops, you're going to feel compression in your middle back. So keep the bottom of the sternum anchored down, the belly engaged, and press your hands into the blocks. One more breath here. And then we're going to release. Good. And just roll your shoulders out a little bit. Okay, so again, coming into a bound ankle shape. So bound ankle shape kind of is the same position that we would be in tree in the legs. We're going to take a block between our feet and put that block the flat way, so it's a little more open in the hips, and slide the block forward a little bit so we have a longer bound ankle shape. All right, bring your hands onto the floor and lift up tall, shoulders back, your sit bones root down, and we're not popping the ribs. Inhale, reach your arms up. Interlace your palms. Press the palms up as your sit bones root down. And press your feet into the block. Keep your low back moving in rather than rounding out. One more breath. Feel a lift of your rib cage. And then release your arms down. Good. From here, staying in this pose, doing a few rounds of cat-cow in bound ankle. So we're going to inhale, arch the back, pull the chest forward, and then exhale, round. Roll back on your sit bones, and repeat. Inhale, arch your back, shoulder blades towards each other. Exhale, round, shoulder blades away from each other. Now with your eyes closed if you can, keeping it meditative. 2 more rounds. Keep the movement slow and mindful. Last one. And bringing yourself back up to vertical. Take a full cycle of breath. For a few more breaths, or some of you might wish to fold. So folding from your hip creases, I'm not rounding my spine. I could have my hands on my ankles or my feet, or those of you who wish to go deeper could put your hands underneath your ankles. Now, wherever you are, inhale, give a little back bend. Reach your chest forward, arch your back, and then exhale, coming down. Let's try that 2 more times. So wherever you are, holding on, inhale, arch, and exhale, round. One more time on your own. And now we'll stay here for 5 breaths. Close your eyes, go inward. Stick with those long exhalations. After your 5th breath, slowly start to come out. Take your time and pause when you get to the top. Have a breath here. Great. We're going to transition in a moment to more standing work, but first we'll come into tabletop pose, all fours. Hands on your shoulders, knees on your hips. Take an inhale, arch your back. Exhale, round, and we're going to push right back into a child's pose. Take your knees wide, send your sit bones back, reach your arms forward, and bring your forehead down. So staying there for a few breaths, even in our child's pose, some similarities to tree pose. We're extending through our spine and our arms. We've got a little opening into the hips. So
still preparing the body for our pose. One more breath. And then from here, we're going to slide forward onto our abdomen. So I'm just going to fix my mat. All right, so sliding forward, we're going to bring the right knee out to the side. So it's tree pose on our belly. Now the foot doesn't have to touch the other leg. It might, but it might not. And then just stack up your arms and rest your head down. From here, I'm going to push my leg down into the floor. And then release. It doesn't have to be aggressive, just push down, feel muscles engaging, and then release. One more time, push down, and release. Now try to lift your leg up. Now you might not go anywhere, and I don't actually want you to lift it. But what's the action of trying to lift that leg up? You might feel some of those muscles engage. Do that 2 more times, trying to lift the leg. Even as you try to lift the leg, notice what's going on in the opposite side of your body. Alright, now let that leg come down, slide your hands back. We're going to come up into a cobra with that leg out to the side. Now you might be low, you might be higher, but the elbows are going to stay bent. The chest is lifting. We're in a little back bend. Extend through your back leg. Hold for another breath. And release. Let's try the other side. So slide that leg back. Other leg out to the side. And then first, you want to press that leg down into the floor. Let's do that about 3 times. So we're resting the forehead down. Press and release. 2 more times. Notice the muscles engaging. Now, 3 times, try to lift the leg up. As I try to lift the leg up, I notice this side gets a little more grounded. 1 more. The foot might lift, that's okay. Now slide your hands back by your chest, elbows in, lift up as high as you like. Root that other leg down, firm the hip on that right leg. Chest forward, shoulders back. Hold 1 more breath. And then release. Both legs back. Stack your hands, wiggle out your hips. 1 more cobra with the legs both back. Tops of the feet press. Tailbone anchors down. Lift up. Elbows in. Shoulders back. And release. Press into tabletop pose. And just circle your hips around a few times in each direction. 1 more this way. And then reverse. Let's go the other direction. And back to center. From here, we're going to take our blanket off of our mat because we're going to prepare now to do our standing work. So you can take that off, fold it up for later. And just put that off to the side. All right, so sorry if there's a little blip there. I'm doing part 2 now. This is going to be the standing portion of our practice. So we're going to start out with a couple of half sun salutations.
do a little bit of standing work, and we'll do a couple different variations of tree pose. So we're going to stand in a really good mountain pose, rooting into your feet, coming back to that visual of the body as a tree. So rooting down into your feet, into your legs. Imagine roots growing through your heels and the balls of your feet, all of your toes, feeling the arches lifting, toning the abdomen, tailbone drawing down. We're going to anchor that bottom of the sternum toward the tailbone. So not so much that I round my back. So I want to feel like my tailbone is pulling forward and my sternum is pulling down, which helps automatically engage my core. But then the challenge is to not round my back. So as I pull the tailbone and the sternum towards each other, keep your chest and the crown of the head lifting up. And then fingertips reaching toward the floor. The collarbones are broad, shoulders are kind of flat against the side of the body here rather than forward. And then finally, chin level with the floor. Imagine a string on the top of your head and reach that string up toward the ceiling. So if you were a tree, you'll be reaching toward the sun. Now inhale, reach the arms all the way out and up. Exhale, fold forward, little bend in your knees. Inhale, hands onto your shins or your thighs, but come up halfway. And then exhale, squeeze the belly in, fold forward, long exhale. And then inhale, reach the arms all the way out and up. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart. 2 more cycles. Inhale, reach. This time we're going to add a heel raise. So we work on our balance. Exhale, lower your heels, little bend in the knees, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, long exhale, squeeze the belly. Inhale, rise up, lift your heels, strengthening your ankles. And then heels down, arms down. One more time, inhale, reach, lift your heels, rise up. Exhale, fold forward, little bend, squeeze the belly, long exhalation. Inhale, halfway lift, chest forward, shoulders lift. Exhale, fold again. And then inhale, rise up, lift your heels, hold, staying here. Palms are facing each other and the arms are strong. Good, lower heels, release your arms. Good, grab your block. And we're going to repeat similar things with a block. So arms reach overhead, press your palms into the block without flaring your ribs. Firm up your arm muscles. And now inhale, heels lift. Reach that block up as high as you can. Hug the ankles towards each other so you don't roll to the pinky toe side. And then heels down, arms down. 2 more like that. Inhale, lift the block, press, lift your heels, hold, tailbone down, belly in, and then release. Heels down, arms down. One more time, inhale, lift up, hold, firm up your legs, your belly, your arms, and release. And you're ready. Set that block to the side. Okay, so from here, we're going to do a little foot stretch, a little myofascial release for your foot. Have another block right in front of you. And you're going to put your ball of your foot up on the block. The heel is on the ground. And then press gently into that block with your foot. Just kind of feeling, it might be a little soreness, a little tenderness. So knowing that our feet are like the roots of our body, and as we age, one of the first signs of decline of our health shows up in our feet. So if we have a lot of foot problems, that can indicate problems in the rest of the body. So kind of move your foot now to another part of the foot. So we're going to slowly go through the whole foot. Put a little pressure so it gets into the tissue of the foot. And then release and go a little bit lower now. So now I'm about at the arch of my foot. And I'm feeling it. It's pretty tender in my feet. So if it's too much, go easy. So don't lean into it quite as much if you've got a lot of tenderness. And then release and go a little lower. Now I'm slightly below the arch. Press as much as feels good for you. So we're waking up the roots of the feet. We've got to stand on them for our tree pose now. A little bit into the heel, like mid-heel, lean in. And release. Circle that foot a little bit and let it come down. Just feel and sense the difference between one leg versus the other. I feel a lot more grounded in that foot that I just released and opened up. So it helps awaken the chakras in our feet, the energy centers of our feet. Let's try the other leg. So now starting toward the ball of the foot, right below the toes, also stretching out into my Achilles and my calf a bit. Lean into it, press the foot into the block to your capacity, and then release. Move the foot a little bit more, now more into the center of the ball of the foot. I've got a slight bend in the knee here. You could also keep the heel down, that's going to change it, totally up to you. You'll get a little bit more back of the calf stretch if the leg is straight. And now release, go a little bit lower, more toward the bottom of the ball of the foot. There are also kidney meridian points in our feet related to Chinese medicine, which again relates to the roots of our body. Go a little bit further now into the arch of the foot. Lean into it. Waking up the feet can also ground us, bring energy downward. Especially if we've been spending a lot of time up in our head, confusion and chaos of the current situation. Lean now into the top of the heel. The foot presses down and that little bit of weight forward helps massage that tissue. And one more time, come away. Now kind of the center of your heel, lean forward. I can take a little more pressure here in the heel. Okay, and release. And just move it around a little bit. And again, feel the awakening of the feet. Feel more grounded perhaps. Come into your mountain pose. Alright. So a couple of versions of tree pose now. Starting with just the baby tree. So this is our sapling tree. Sometimes called kickstand tree because we're keeping both feet on the ground. So standing with your hands right on your hips, we're going to stand on your right leg, so I'll mirror you, and bring your left heel right above your ankle. So now, rooting down into that standing foot, as soon as I push that foot down, I feel my hip and glute tone. And then press your heel and your ankle or your shin into each other. That accentuates that tone. Tailbone down and a little forward towards your sternum, but keep your chest, rib cage lifting, but feel the core connection. Draw those two bones towards each other, so we're not twisting. So I don't want my one hip bone back farther than the other. Straight ahead, like headlights. Now hands to the heart. Press the palms together and extend through that string in the top of your head. You're reaching toward the sunlight, that little sapling trying to get a little bit of light, but through the root system,
sharing resources with the mama trees. Now if you're still steady, let's take the arms up. And here, the palms kind of scoop inward. Roll your pinkies forward and lift your pinkies up, up, up. Reach for the sun. Feel solid in your legs, in your belly, in your arms. Level in your pelvis. Now you might sway a little bit, trees sway a little bit, that's okay. And then release. And come out. Shake it out a little bit. So I wanted to start in that kickstand tree so you can really get the feeling of the power in your legs, the levelness in your hips before we start to actually keep one foot off the ground. Let's try the other side. So now standing on your left leg, we want to make sure that this hip doesn't pop out. So I'm exaggerating, but we tend to lean into it when we lift one foot. Keep your hips level and then come into your little sapling on the other side. So hips firm, root that standing leg down. Keep this hip from popping out. Tailbone and sternum action. Press heel and ankle into each other. And then hands could always stay here at the heart. If I press my palms together, it helps me open my chest. Steady gaze. Those of you who feel really balanced, arms can reach. Pinkies roll in and lift up. Reach for the sun. Feel the solidity of your body like the trunk of a tree. Your roots growing down, your branches growing up. And then slowly release. Come down and maybe shake it out a little bit. Another important thing is to not lock our knee. So the standing knee, we want to make sure we're not hyperextending it. We want to make sure we're firming the leg, engaging the leg, engaging, lifting the kneecap, but not jamming that knee back. So be mindful of that as we do another version of our tree pose. So now getting a little bit more into being able to lift the leg a little higher can be a challenge. You're welcome to have a chair to hold on to or a wall space, because now we're going to start to try and balance on one leg. So we're going to stand on that right leg again and lift your left knee. Now here, hug into the middle, firm those hip bones in, hollow out that belly, lift your chest, shoulders back. From here, we're going to extend that leg out to the side, about hip height. And we're going to have the hand inside the leg. Now this arm can come out for counterbalance, stay on your hip, whatever works for you, and then press your leg and your arm into each other. I'm going to flex this foot as well. Press, 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 hold. Now if you're steady, take that opposite arm, reach it up. Lift that leg a little higher as you root into your standing leg. And now squeeze the heel in to contract your hamstring. And then release. Leg back to center, set it down, have a breath. So when the outer hip muscles are weaker, it's hard to balance. When the hamstring is weak, it's hard to hold that leg up. And when the inner thigh is restricted, it's hard to open the leg to the side. So we're addressing all of these areas to help prepare us for our tree. Okay, so now standing on your left leg, bring the right knee up. Make sure we're not locking that knee, firm the hips, tone the belly, and then leg out to the side. Press your hand and leg into each other. Opposite arm could be out to the side or on your hip. Keep your chest lifting. This standing thigh is back, so I feel weight in my heel without locking the knee. Maybe the arm can reach up, up, up. Keep pressing leg, and now squeeze the foot up, heel up. And then release. Coming back to center. Wiggle it out a little bit. Okay. Have a breath here. And let's try
right leg. Now we can stay with a kickstand. If you have struggled with balance today, use your chair if you want. Back to a wall would also work. Now those of you who want to go the next stage, you can pick your foot up, place it below your knee, or if you wish, hold on to that leg, lift it high, and place your foot above your knee. Now I'm going to contract that hamstring, hip points level, tailbone sternum action, chest lifting, maybe palms together. You can always stay with that heel on the floor, maybe the arms reach up. Now we're the big mother tree, standing tall, sharing our resources with the little saplings. Lift, 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 root into that standing leg. Let your roots go deep into the earth. And slowly release. And that knee forward and down. And shake it out a bit. All right, other side. Standing on your left leg. Right knee comes up, starting in kickstand or below the knee, or you can help it along, bring it above the knee. And then again, we're going to firm those hips in, sternum, tailbone towards each other so the core is engaged. Hands to the heart. Extend through the crown of the head. Keep that tailbone sternum action as you take the arms up, so we don't want to flare the rib cage. That's going to throw our balance off. Thigh bone is back, so weight is in that heel, but keep the big toe mound pressing down, and then reach higher, as high as you can. In both directions. So rooting the standing leg down as the arms come up. We've got one more breath. And then release, arms down, foot down. And shake it out a little bit. We're going to take one more variation. And this is called the living, breathing tree. So in this variation, we're going to do some movement of the arms, which can make it challenging to balance when we've got movement up here, right? So we're not that strong, steady branch anymore. Our branches are going to flow a little bit. So let's try it before we're balancing. So we're going to inhale. And then release. So you can do that in one breath, or you can take multiple breaths. So inhale, 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 exhale. Or we can try it, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. So whatever works for you, if you can do this one breath, you might try that. Or you can do it in multiple breaths. So I'll leave that up to you. But we are going to move the arms while we're in tree. So standing on your right leg. Now I would recommend for this one, you don't go into that big mama tree. Maybe stay in your sapling, or maybe even like a medium-sized tree with that foot on the lower, below the knee. Because as we move the arms, you're going to feel less steady. So I'm going to show it in the kickstand. If you are super grounded and you want to keep it here or even higher, that's your choice. I'm going to just show it here. So first, establish this connection to the earth, root down, tailbone sternum connection, lift your chest. And then arms down at your side. And maybe change it up a little bit. Let's inhale out to the sides. Exhale, arms together. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, arms down. Good. It doesn't matter if you want to change that up, as long as you're moving. So let's try it again. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now if you want, do an inhale and exhale. So your choice between those two things. Now I'm going to bring my foot up here as I do a few more rounds. Let it be nice and meditative. Moving meditation, so it's very calm. And slow. One more time on this side. I'm doing it all in one inhale and all in one exhale. Long exhale. And then release, foot down, and we'll try the other side. So starting in your sapling, squeeze in, tone the belly, arms down, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, arms down. Good. Continue on your own. If you want, going in all one breath or even lifting that foot up below your knee or above your knee, I'm going to keep it below. My lower body stays super, super strong as I'm a little more flowy in the arms. So like a tree moving in the breeze. Living, breathing tree, sharing resources. Not discriminating against the other trees that are not of our same species. Knowing that the stronger we all are, the healthier our planet. All right, let's go ahead and release now. Separate your feet, knees soft, and just take a little gentle sway side to side. Did a lot of work on those outer hips, so we're going to come back down to the ground in a moment and just stretch things out a bit. And then we'll close with a nice shavasana. All right. So if you want, you can do a vinyasa to come to the floor or just simply come down when you're ready. If you wish, you could have a blanket underneath your head. So coming down, actually I'm going to move a little closer here. Down on your back. And let's take a full body stretch again and do that reaching and reaching. Lengthen out the side body again. And then we're going to hug the right knee into the chest, like we did in the beginning, but now we're going to come into a twist to stretch out that outer hip a bit. So right arm out to a T, left hand on the outer side of the right leg. Inhale, exhale, twist to the left, look to the right. You may be getting a little stretch in here into the hip and the thigh, and then inhale back up. Exhale, twist. Look over your right shoulder. And again, inhale, center. Exhale, twist. Now we're going to hold it. And if you like, extend this leg out. If that doesn't feel good, keep it bent. Look over the opposite shoulder. Maybe pull the left shoulder to the left, which will help me ground my right shoulder. Now, if this shoulder is feeling any tenderness, I could also just rest my hand on my rib cage or my hip. Otherwise, let that arm come out to a T and look toward that hand. I'm going to roll this top hip away a little bit to create more length on the side body. I'm going to rebend this knee and bring it back up to the center. Give it another hug.
And then from here, both legs up, swing the right leg in front and bring the feet down and see if you can hold behind your legs, your shins or your feet for Gomukhasana legs, which I get a nice stretch in my right outer hip. And then we could rock a little bit side to side. So if my back is really rounding here, I'd want to make sure I had a blanket or a pillow under my head so that my vertebrae were not really poking so much into the ground. Okay, release that. And let's try the other side. So now my right leg is out. I'm going to bring my left knee into the chest. And then hand comes outside, arm out to a T. And I'm going to twist, look to the left, and inhale back. Exhale, twist. Inhale back, one more time. And then I'm going to extend that leg out if I like. You can always keep it bent. You could also have support under it. Pull the right shoulder blade to the right so that we're a little more even. Remember, you can always put this hand on your rib cage or your hip or keep it out to the side. Roll the top hip away, creating some length. All right, rebend that top knee. Come back in. Legs up. Left leg on top this time. Bend your knees. Either hold behind your legs, hold your shins, or hold your feet. And then the feet are a little flexed, and we'll rock side to side. So however you can hold those feet. And as I rock a little bit toward the right, my left outer hip is getting a nice stretch. Might be different for you, but that's where I'm feeling it. No right or wrong. We're all different in the patterns we hold in our bodies. All right, release. Knees in. And then from here, we're going to do a happy baby, but a little different. This is a somatic happy baby. So we're going to bring the legs up, hold behind the legs, take the knees wide, little flex to the feet. My shins are pretty much straight up and down. And then I'm not going to hold on. I'm going to let the arms relax. Let the tailbone get heavy. So I have a little tiny curve in my low back. I'm not poking my vertebra in. And then I'm going to do a rock, side to side. I'm going to start letting my head go the same direction as my legs. And if I can, I'm going to go with my eyes closed. Feel a nice rock across the sacrum. And now start letting your head turn opposite. Head turns opposite. Couple more. Going slowly. I'm not trying to do as many reps as I can. I'm just going really slowly so that I can stay in a more somatic experience of feeling and sensing into my physical body. And then back to the center. One more time, I'm going to hug those knees in. Just settle here for a breath or two. Setting those feet down on the ground, we're going to come into Shavasana. So if you like to have any props, maybe a blanket under your head or under your backs of your knees would be nice. I'm not going to stay here long, so I'm going to just stretch the legs out, relax my arms, and then close your eyes. Be coming up to guide you through Shavasana. You stay where you are. Make any last minute adjustments.
your body starts to settle into Shavasana, release to gravity once again. With your awareness at your eyes, soften the eyes. Relax all the little muscles around your eyes. And start to let the eyes retreat toward the back of your skull. Feel the back of the head heavy on the ground. And imagine the back of the head rooting, growing roots downward, connecting you to the core of the earth. Feel the backs of the shoulder blades root downward. Shoulders heavy, arms heavy. Backs of the palms rooting into the ground. Traveling down through the spine, anchor into the back of the pelvis. And this is not necessarily an action that you do, it's a visualization of your body connecting deeply to the core of the earth. Letting the root system be stronger in your body. And then backs of the legs, heavy, rooting, all the way down to your heels. Feel your heels root toward the core of the earth. Feel those roots draw deep into the ground toward the water source so that it is deeply nourishing and replenishing for your system. Grounding your nervous system, calming your mind, relaxing your physical body. So oftentimes when we feel more stable, secure, safe, we can let go more and relax. So from that place of being so stable on your back, connecting to Earth's core, we can soften and release into gravity. Feel all of your body effortless. Let the tissues of the body soften, liquefy, and release into the security of the earth. Very quiet, subtle breath. Knowing that through our own root system, we're more stable, grounded in who we are. We're not so easily thrown off by perhaps comments that other people make, their own beliefs. We can just be okay who we are. Sharing and caring for each other, sharing breath, sharing resources. So that we are stronger as a community, as a nation, as a planet. Might wish to stay in a longer Shavasana. You're certainly welcome to do so. If you'd like to begin to come out, you could deepen your breath a little bit at a time. Gently move fingers and toes. Maybe stretch it out or hug your knees. So take the time that you need. If you're coming out, if you wish to stay, you can stay there through the end of this video and just relax more. I do recommend it if you have time. Those of you deciding to end your practice with me, you can roll to your side when you're ready, having a pause, so try not to pop up, and have a few breaths. Staying as relaxed as you can be. When it feels right for you, go ahead and press into the ground. Let your head be heavy. The head come up last. And we'll meet in a comfortable seat of your choosing when you are ready. And as you come back to a seated posture, anchor once again through your sit bones. Ground down into your lower body and then get longer through your trunk, through your torso. Extend upward through the crown of your head. And then either let your hands rest face down or face up, but connect to your legs. Maybe close your eyes for a few more moments, feeling the calmness and steadiness that we cultivate when we work on balance. I'll finish with Mary Oliver's poem, When I Am Among the Trees. When I am among the trees, especially the willows and the honey locust, especially the beech, the oaks, and the pines, they give off such hints of gladness. I would almost say that they save me, and daily. I am so distant from the hope of myself, in which I have goodness and discernment. Never hurry through the world, but walk slowly and bow often. Around me the trees stir in their leaves and call out, stay a while. And the light flows from their branches. And they call again, it's simple, they say. And you too have come into the world to do this, to go easy, to be filled with light and to shine. If you're closing with me, let's bring hands together in front of the heart space. Next inhale, allow your heart to lift a little higher, and as you exhale, bow your head to meet your heart in your hands. Great. Thank you, everyone.